Hello, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to the Skinny Boom Team Call. John and Ashley Fischer, Triple Diamond here, and tonight we are talking to Jodie. Jodie, can you introduce yourself for us, please? Tell us who you are, where you're from, your rank, and we'll get started from there. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. I feel so honored to be on the call tonight. I'm Jodie Gravely, Presidential Diamond with It Works Global, and currently live in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Cool. I love Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you so much. We are so excited to have you. And I always love to talk to people who have accents like mine, so it makes it a good evening. Tell us a little bit about how you found It Works Global, how you got started with it.
Well, I've been doing It Works for 5 years in March, and we actually went presidential on our 5-year anniversary. And actually, my husband found the wrap. We lived in Virginia, North Carolina most of our married life. We've been married 36 years. And we had moved back to Virginia to take care of his mother, who was ill, and his father had already passed away. And so when we got there, we decided to open up kind of a alternative health practice there. My husband had been a pastor, but for about 20 years we had had some great success turning our health around with nutritional supplements and exercise and lifestyle change. And so that was always a part of our ministry. And so when we moved there to take care of his mom, we didn't have a church, so we decided to open up this alternative health facility. And about 6 months in, we knew we weren't going to be able to stay open because our town had 22% unemployment. And, people just didn't have money for counseling. My husband has a PhD in counseling and has a lot of herbology and nutrition certifications and stuff. And so about 6 months in, he was on the computer one day just looking for a machine. We did the ultrasonic liposuction and the detoxing foot baths and things like that. And he was looking for a machine, and he saw the wrap online. And he said, you know what, if this thing really worked, it would get people a jump start to weight loss, and then we could introduce the nutritional products to them because, we would try to get people to change their lifestyle, but if they didn't lose a lot of weight in a week or two, they would get discouraged about making lifestyle changes. And so I said, okay, I don't think it works, but you can order it and we'll try it. And so he ordered the wraps, and we tried them. And I'm not very large anyway, but I got really good results with my first one. And he didn't see a lot of results till his third one. But on his third one, he got really good results. And so he had been in a car wreck and had been in the hospital and had a lot of reconstructive surgeries on his shoulder. So he gained a little weight when he couldn't exercise and stuff. And so within 2 full treatments, which is, 2 boxes he did them every 3 days for a month, he lost a pant size, and we were really excited. And so we started wrapping people and offering that in our center, and it totally, within 30 days, we were making money.
That's an amazing start, and I do have to say I'm so glad that you said that your husband was the one that came across it and that your husband was the one that ordered it. I'm sorry.
John is actually the one who found it for us, too. So.
Well, that's awesome. When I heard you introduce the call, I'm like, oh, this is so neat. Actually, my husband's presidential, and he got in first because I was never going to do anything like this again. In 20 years, we had been in a couple other companies just because for good nutritional products. And, they had good nutritional products, but we never made any money. And so, I wasn't ever going to do anything like this again. And when we were in these other companies, it's not like we jumped around, from year to year. We were in each one, 3 or 4 or 5 years. But none of those companies ever had a green food powder. And my husband would write the corporations and say, you need a green food powder, because that's what really turned our life around 22 years ago was a green food powder, but it tasted just like grass. And it was hard for us to get other people to do it. And so, we never could get a company to do that. And so right after we tried the wrap, we were in Martinsville, Virginia, which is about an hour above Winston-Salem, and Pam Souter was still in Roanoke at the time. And the lady that we had found online, you got to remember, this is before Facebook was really big, with It Works.
Yeah.
And so the lady that we found actually had been sponsored by Pam Souter about 7 or 8 years earlier. And so Pam's not really a sponsor anymore, but that lady has since quit, and so Pam is our only upline, which was so critical while we needed to get presidential done because we didn't have a BAM when things needed to get done. But anyway, right after we tried the wrap, Dr. Don and Pam did, we used to call them boot camps down in Winston-Salem. And my mother-in-law had a brain tumor, and so I stayed with her, and Stan went to Winston-Salem. And when he heard Dr. Don talk about the quality of the products and the greens, he came back to Martinsville, and he said, okay, we are all in. They have a green food powder, and it doesn't taste like grass. So that has just been an enjoyable product for us to finally get something that would change people's health that didn't taste so bad.
I love it. Yeah, the greens have definitely changed a ton of our lives. So you've been in for 5 years, and I love that you mentioned that you, haven't really had an upline. So that's probably kind of given you some times where you've had some difficulty and had to kind of go through the learning curve on your own. So what do you do, like personal development-wise, to really rock a very large business and a very successful business without anybody really to pour into you?
Well, we were lucky early on that we were able to make friends with people. I think we became friends with Melody and Blair McFarland when they were the only ambassadors, or maybe just them and Cammie. And, of course, we've always been friends with Tina and Bubba. And so, sometimes we'll reach cross-line when we get down. But my husband's always been really big into, using your words to, bring about what you want in your life. We think that's a biblical principle. It's a universal principle. And so, he's always been big into affirmations, for 15 or 20 years. And so, we have affirmation books, and, we have our dream board. And so, we try to, when I get down, I know I can't go anywhere if I stay in that mode, in that negative energy mode. And so, I will start trying to make affirmations. We've been trying to get presidential done for 2 years. And, I got discouraged a lot of times. There were months I felt like I didn't sleep because all I did was go to bed and think about it. And Pam kept saying, you've got to imagine yourself walking that stage and being presidential. And so I just lay awake at night and imagine being presidential, But there were times, I get down. I would try to read some every day, plug in a CD, Jim Rohn's CDs. When we were going triple, Jim Rohn's CD, I wore that thing out about network marketing, because if you don't know a lot about our industry, you tend to take things personally when people reject your product or they reject the business, and you just can't take those things personally. So, CDs and books and daily affirmations. And then I will share this. It might be a little TMI, but, when they first started doing in March, listing the people that had signed the most people each week. Do you remember that? On the Monday night calls. So I listened to a Monday night call March the 10th or something like that. And, when they gave out that they were going to do these bonuses at conference, we had a presidential leg, and our 2 diamond legs that we had to go triple weren't even qualifying. And then we had started several legs to try to get another diamond to go presidential that were doing nothing. And so we left conference, and my husband's like on cloud 9. I will have to tell you, he's the dreamer, and he's the one that keeps the vision going. And he said, who do we have that we can work with? And I said, well, we've got this one girl, and she's been in a little over a year, hadn't done very much, but she told me she really wanted to. And he said, call her. and tell her we're ready to run with her. And I'm like, well, our other diamond legs aren't even qualifying. He's like, don't worry about that. You know, they're here at conference. They'll get the vision. You know, they'll run. And so I called that girl, and she and I just said, are you ready? Let's run. And I said, you've got to do most of the work. You know, we're trying to build you to diamond, but you got to do the work. And she did. And she and I both, I mean, we worked it night and day, January and February. And by March 10th, we had put in a total of 4 distributors. And we were trying to build a complete diamond leg. And I got up the morning after that call, and I cried all day. And that's really not me. I don't get down a whole lot. And my husband's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, you know, I just feel so defeated. I feel like I'm not doing something wrong. There are so many people that are putting in 6, 8, 10 distributors a week. And I'm like, you know, I just can't shake it. And I just felt down all day. And so I just thought, well, a good night's sleep, I'll feel better tomorrow. But anyway, he said, well, you know, go take a shower and get dressed, and let's have a nice dinner together. And so I came out, I got dressed, came out, and he was on the phone, and he was talking to an ambassador that we're friends with, and he said, you need to talk to my baby. She's down, and she doesn't usually get down. And I'd been holding in tears all day. And when he gave the phone to me, and I heard Tina Hatcliffe say, hey, honey, what's wrong with you? I just burst out crying, and I was just bawling. And I said, I just feel like I'm just not a good leader, and blah, blah, blah. And Tina was so sweet. She said, I felt kind of down after that call last night, too, because I'm not the sponsoring queen. But she said, you know, you got to get out of this negative energy. You're awesome, and you just got to keep doing what you're doing. And anyway, you know, so she helped me feel a little bit better. And, of course, I got up the next day feeling fine because I usually can shake it after a day or two. But I woke up Friday the 13th, March 13th at 3:30 in the morning, and I had just had a dream of how I was going to get it done. And in my dream, I was signing up one of my husband's friends from high school, and he was signing up his wife, and he was signing up his sister and his daughter. And I couldn't go back to sleep. And I got up at 5 o'clock, and I just started making a list of all my friends and my husband's friends from high school that I had never invited to be distributors. And I started contacting them. And I don't think I went to sleep for 48 hours. I was so excited. And I called Megan, who was the girl that we were, you know, trying to help build a diamond, and she had been working her butt off. She had almost 4,000 friends on Facebook. She had done bodybuilding before, and she had been, you know, really working her leads and all. And it was just like everybody was on the fence, you know. And so I called her, and I said, girl, we're going for it. I mean, I just had so much confidence after I had that dream that we were going to get it done. And they were still scary days between then and the end of the month. But she started calling her friends and saying, listen, I'm going for a $20,000 bonus. If you're still interested in doing this business, could you please get in now? And she and I together signed up at least 20 distributors the last 2 weeks of March. And it was pretty even, you know, with her and me.
Holy cow.
It was just a God thing, you know. Even the last couple of days of the month, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, where's this volume going to come from, you know? But once we had put the hammer down and decided to do it, you know, it got done. But teamwork is just everything, and there's just some kind of energy about when you, and my husband's the one that gets it first, but when you get the vision that I'm going for this and it's going to get done, it's just something you can't really explain to people, you know, the energy that it gets done. And then, even though I was still working, I signed up 0 distributors in April. I mean, it was crazy. And, of course, I've rebounded in May and signed up about 5 or 6 in May, but, it was like, I don't know what happened in April, but you just can't beat yourself up when you have months like that, you know?
Well, I think it's amazing that you know, have been so transparent about, you know, we all have down months, and I think a lot of us, you know, don't like to say it or, you know, to be out about it. But I think the biggest thing about your downtime is you don't beat yourself up about it. You know, you stayed down for a day, and then you got up and got presidential, and then.
And, you know, when we went triple 2 years ago, we got the very first good bonus that ever was given in January of 2012. We'd been in 2 years. We needed to get diamond done, but we got in. We went ruby after about 4 or 5 months, and we stayed at ruby for a year and a half. And we were making a lot of money at ruby because we had so many loyal customers, with our holistic business, and we had people coming in. But, we were blowing them away because my husband was a product expert. I mean, he literally is the Dr. Don of the East Coast. And he would sit down and go through every product with them in detail while they had the wrap on. And then nobody wanted to be a distributor because they couldn't do what he did. And we didn't realize that's why we couldn't get distributors, because he was blowing them out of the water. And so after about a year, we called Pam one day, and Stan said, Pam, we ain't doing something right, because I think her daughter Kay had went triple, and then she had went presidential, and all these people were promoting, and we just stayed at Ruby. And she said, well, Kay's got a party next week, and I think Kay was triple at the time. And there's supposed to be 30 people there. And I said, Pam, I've always been by myself. Pam helped us do our first launch party. And after that, I was on my own because my sponsor was in Myrtle Beach and we were in Virginia. And so I called Kay and I said, can I come watch your party? I just feel like I need to watch somebody do a party, because I had a lot of parties, but I never got any loyal customers. Never got any distributors, and so we went to Roanoke. It was about an hour, and we went to Kay's party where there were supposed to be 30 people, and you know how many people showed up? 0.
Oh, my.
And I told Pam a year later, we were on the Show Me the Money call when we went diamond. That's how much the company has changed. And she asked me what my defining moment was, and that was my defining moment, that a triple diamond could have a no-show. And so then I knew it wasn't me. Sometimes it's the people you're having parties with, or the people that don't show up. It's not always your fault. You can continue to learn skills and get better at things, but you just can't take it personally when people don't show up. And after that, I just trust God that who's supposed to be at that party will be there. And if it's only one person, I get excited, and I do the party just like I would if there were 20 people there.
I love that.
I love that. That's great. So we've talked about a couple of things already. This is a Refuse to Sink call. So one of the things you mentioned was, like, you and another girl setting up, like, 20 distributors in half a month. And, the journey you've taken and stuff like that. No people showing up to parties of people who are now ambassadors. So that's really great to know a lot of these things. So tell us, when you were new, that's kind of a newbie story, but when you were, like, brand new, what would you do different? What would you do to, knowing what you know now? Because we've got a lot of newbies on the call who are going to sit here and think, well, I can't do what she does, but you can. We just have a different scope now. So how would you change that?
Well, I think when you're new, if you don't have, I think for one thing, you need to get on a couple products. And you need to be a product of your products. The main thing is to wrap at least through a box and get your before picture and your after picture. We didn't have pictures back then because we were measuring, and so we weren't taking pictures. And honest to God, I didn't really believe in the wrap until a year later when I started taking pictures. Now, I would see some great measurable results, but I didn't follow up with people. And so I didn't know if they continued to get results or how they were doing. I just did 0 follow-up for a year, and I signed up 300 loyal customers and did 0 follow-up for a year. Now you know why it took us so long to go diamond. But, get your own results, because there is no way, if you take a before picture and you wrap every 3 days through a box of wraps and you drink your water, there's no way you're not going to see results. I believe that much in the wrap now. And so you need to get your results with the wraps. You need to get on the greens. You need to be consistent with it. You need to get your story, that, oh, my gosh, I've got more energy than I've had in 5 years. Or I've got people that have no more allergies after being on greens. I've got a cousin that's off of 2 acid reflux medications because of greens. Just get your own story. But until then, you can use our stories or some other people's stories. But I think what I would do differently, and what I'm learning to do even now, and I've been listening to John Worry's GoPro, is to make relationships, build relationships, and build friendships. And as he says, don't be a shark, and don't badger people about being in the business or ordering your product, but just build friendships. And what really, oh my gosh, the call just can't be long enough. I have a girl in my group that's been in 4 years, and a year ago she was still Ruby after 3 years, and I didn't know what to do for her because she had so much heart. She blitzed all the time. She signed up distributors. She tried to get them started. They just never did anything, and she was so discouraged. And Melody McFarland told me to tell her she's got to work on herself. She's got to do this, reading the books and stuff like that. And she didn't like to read, so she ordered these books on tape and started listening to them. And she and I together started learning to do Instagram about a year ago. And it totally changed our business. But we had to learn to build relationships. And when people message us from Instagram, the very first thing that we say, and she taught me this, and I don't know who she learned it from, but she started listening to YouTubes of everybody and trying to grow herself. But the first thing we say when somebody contacts us about a product from Facebook or Instagram is, are you just interested in using the products, or would you be interested in making money with the products? And that has changed both of our businesses. Because a lot of people, when they ask you about a product, they haven't even thought about making money with it. And so that has started getting us so many more distributors because it just puts the seed in their head. And then after they give us an answer, I don't care what it is, if they just want to use the products, then I ask them, well, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What are your health goals? Or if they say they'd like to make money, I'll say, well, what are your goals? Why would you want to do this? And so that's what I would change, I think, if I had learned to do that earlier, to just really be interested in people, what their goals are, and to put the business out there to every single person up front. And say, no pressure at all, but are you just interested in using the products, or would you be interested in making money with the products? Because I want to tell you, that girl finally, after 3.5 years, and I cry talking about it because she's so dear to me, she went emerald in December, and I cried like a baby. And then she went diamond in January and got a $20,000 bonus, and she went double diamond in March after 3.5 years of being at Ruby.
I love that.
She's charting to triple, and she's just such an inspiration to me. But, she's taught me things, and I've taught her things, and we're still learning. We're still reading. And, I just think we need to be concerned about people. And if you'll build relationships, and your goal should not be to sign up. I know we always say it starts with one. Just think about the next loyal customer, the next distributor. But I think your goal needs to be educating people about what you have, and then, the customers and the distributors will come if you just educate people. And plus, another thing I guess I tell new people is you got to follow up. Follow up is everything.
Yeah, I love that. We teach our team, to always offer the opportunity, but it's amazing how just changing your wording.
Just a little bit of wording makes all the difference, and that is so simple and sweet
and
easy.
Your mindset, because it's all about just loving on people.
It all goes into relationships, like you said. So you kind of touched on a couple things. What is a time that you just really refuse to think, though?
Well, there's been a couple. When none of you will remember this. How long you guys been in the business?
2
years and 8 months.
Yeah, you won't remember it, but there's 2 times I can tell you that, and it was before you guys were even in, but in November 2011, we had just gone emerald in October after almost 2 years, and the company spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to get a new website, and it was horrible. We call it the website from hell, and I had 300 loyal customers, and half of them got products they didn't order, and I lost a lot of loyal customers, and I lost a lot of momentum because we were trying to get diamond done, in November or December that year. and we lost distributors over it. And I am lucky enough that I personally knew Pam and Mark, and I knew the torment that it was causing them because, I mean, this was a reputable company that built that website, and, you know, it didn't go well. And anyway, so this kind of comes up to another question you were going to ask me, but we already had our tickets to conference in January, and my husband didn't want to go. I mean, that's how discouraged we were. I went home every night from work. We were still working our business, you know, our holistic business. And I just dealt with problems all day long because of this website and me having so many customers that didn't get the right orders. And I would just go home and go to bed. I wouldn't even eat supper. And I was so discouraged. And so we finally worked through that, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's almost Christmas time, and we're trying to make travel plans to go to the conference. And it was the first conference that's going to be in Florida. And my husband's like, my heart's not into it. My heart's just not into it. You know, we've lost so much business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, we've been doing this 2 years. We love the products. We've got too much invested to jump ship, and I sure don't want to start with something else because this works, you know, and this wrap is amazing, and that's what gets people's attention. And so I pretty much drug him to Florida, and that conference changed our life. I mean, I don't even like to think about where we'd be if we hadn't gone. We probably would have ended up quitting the business. And that was how we ended up getting the first good bonus because you know how conference and one team, one missions and It Works Used can change you. If you've never been to one, you just have to get there to understand. But my husband walked away a changed man from conference, and we were happy we didn't go diamond before conference because then we got a $10,000 bonus 2 weeks later. Going diamond. But that was one time we refused to sink, although we just almost did. And then when they offered that good bonus, the company just exploded. And, you know, we only had 25 customer service reps. And all of a sudden, in 30 days, you know, Mark and Pam and the company had to hire like 200 or 300 people. And we had hold times even longer than we have now on customer service. And so we had one person at conference, and she hit the ground running when we got back from conference, and she was in North Carolina, we were in Virginia, and she put in 38 distributors in 90 days. And when she went diamond in April, we went double diamond. And so we're all excited. Oh, my gosh, you know, it took us 2 years, but we went diamond, then we went double diamond within 3 months. And 2 months later, we had the infamous wrap shortage. The company had grown so much they couldn't keep up with production. Mark had planned for about 200% growth, and the company grew 400% in those 4 or 5 months. And so in June of that year, you couldn't even get a wrap anywhere. And so that was when we could have sunk then. And we had a girl that was close to going diamond, and she lost both of her ruby legs because they got mad because they couldn't get wraps for 30 days. And they're like, how do we do parties without wraps? And so that's really the beginning of the sample parties because we didn't have wraps. So we would just go to a party and do the party pad anyway. And if we did have a wrap, we would put everybody's name in a hat, and we'd just pick it out and let one person wrap. So it's all in the way you handle things. You know, we could have quit then. But, you know, we refused to let the struggle make us quit. And we lost double diamond for a couple months. And then we just had to, you know, knuckle down and get our volume back up. And we got it back, you know, within about 2 or 3 months and never lost it again. But I have the girl that was almost diamond that month, and her 2 ruby legs quit. She did not give up. And she was emerald, but it took her a whole another year to go diamond. But that month that we had the wrap shortage, she sponsored one person, and that person went triple within a year and then went presidential before anybody else on our team. But the girl that, you know, had lost her ruby legs and waited another year to go diamond went presidential day before yesterday. And so, you know, when people stick with it and they don't give up through the hardships, I mean, they just become your family. And you know, we got this huge leg with 2 presidentials and triples and gazillion doubles in it, you know, but we just are thankful and blessed for them. And, you know, we've seen their hardships, and they just didn't ever get up and now give up, and now they're just being extremely blessed.
That is absolutely amazing. And, yeah, we've heard of the rap shortage, but we've never we've heard a lot about it, but we've never experienced it ourselves yet.
It was wonderful, and I guarantee you it won't never happen again.
I know.
So I think you already answered one of my other questions about how important it is to go to events.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, as we know, and a lot of people on this call know, conference changes your life. So any event you can get to, I mean, just go. If it's one team, one mission, great. You're going to get a lot of great personality out of that. Green carpet experience is an amazing trip. Conference, you have to go. So let's talk about what is one tip that you have. We talked about newbies a little bit. So what's one tip you have for a newbie, and maybe one tip you have for that veteran who's been in for a while like us?
You know, with a newbie, I would just, say, like I said before, is concentrate on relationships and building relationships with people. I'm a little different from some people. You know, they say if somebody gets within 3 feet of you, I'm going to blitz them. Well, if somebody gets within 3 feet of me, I'm going to speak to them. I don't know if I'm going to blitz them yet or not. But if they've got kids, I'm going to say, oh, my gosh, your baby's so cute. How old is she? You know, just start conversations with people. And then it's easier to blitz right before you walk away. You can just say, hey, do you mind if I give you one of my coupons? You don't look like you need it, but most mothers love this product. Or sometimes I'll give them a couple, and I'll just say, hey, you don't look like you need it, but would you give a couple of these coupons to your friends? Because I know new mothers love this product. So for newbies, just try to learn how to get over yourself, get out of your comfort zone, and just start learning to speak to people and making friends. And another thing that took me a long time to learn, other than follow-up, and Mike Patello has always told us the fortune is in the follow-up. I signed up a girl in March as a distributor that's doing great, and I had been following up with her monthly since September, and I got her from Instagram. So follow-up is one thing for newbies, and just learning to start meeting people and just try to, build friendships, make relationships, and then the blitzing or the introducing your product comes easier. And as far as veterans, really, if your business isn't growing, you need to start working on yourself. You need to get John Maxwell's books on leadership. You need to get Jim Rohn's books on, our business, Jim Worry, the 4-year career. I mean, that's how my girl that was Ruby for 3.5 years is now close to triple diamond after just 6 months because, she constantly listens. She's read all the books she can get on our industry, and I think that's what veterans usually need to do if they're having a problem. I mean, we lost triple diamond after 6 months. We lost our triple diamond bonus, not this past year, but last winter. And, I mean, we got down to below double diamond income for a while, and it was discouraging. And there were people jumping ship and trying other companies, but, then again, we're like, we love this company. We love these products. And hair, skin, and nails was a big thing that really helped revive our business, but learning to do Instagram. I mean, I'm 57 years old, and I was so intimidated by Instagram. I loved Facebook, but Instagram was so different. And, I put it off for months, and I thought I'll never learn that. That's for young people. But then I just decided I'm going to do it. And I got my teenage granddaughter, and, me and Becky, the girl I was talking about, she's in her 20s, but she didn't know anything about Instagram. But she kept blitzing people, and they would say, oh, I saw that on Instagram. So she thought, well, maybe we need to do Instagram. So I learned to do something new. So as a veteran, I just say, work on your self-improvement every day and start plugging in to some leaders, whether they're on your team or cross line, and trying to learn new skills. And I'm just constantly learning how to do the business better.
Well, I love that, and I didn't tell you, and you probably haven't seen it yet, but we made you go Periscope Live during this this call. So Periscope actually has globally been blessed by all of your tips.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to learn Periscope now.
Well, I just tell you, they're like harping the heck out of you. But we are so thankful, and I was really excited when you know, I know you guys usually do a Sunday call, but I was really excited that you were able to share with us, you know, because you just have so much knowledge and insight and wisdom that we rap people need to learn to continue to grow. So thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your Sunday evening to really share with us.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just remember, your journey's your journey. Quit comparing yourself to your upline, your sideline, or all these people, you know, that go presidential in 8 months. I love that, and it encourages me, but it doesn't discourage me that I'm not ambassador or that it took me 5 years to go presidential. Your journey's your journey. Just bless people with your products and bless people with the opportunity, and just remember that the next person you come in contact with, you could change their life either physically or financially. And just, you know, put other people first and quit worrying about yourself, and then you'll really start to grow, I think.
I think that is one of the biggest pieces of advice to leave everybody with. And we want to remind everybody who's on the call, in about 20 minutes there's going to be a corporate call, so we don't want to keep too much of you or Miss Jodie's evening anymore. But Miss Jodie, I hope you learn Periscope, and this video is live on there for the next 24 hours, and we'll probably upload it too so that people can kind of see it. But
thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. This was an amazing call, and thank you for sharing with everybody. And everybody, make sure you plug into the corporate family call. Hopefully we'll get maybe some, I don't know, announcements today or tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got the It Works family call with Mark tonight, and then tomorrow they're going to have the It Works You in St. Louis. So, yeah.
So y'all have a great night. Miss Jodie, thank you so much for sharing with us, and we just love your story.
Good night.
Thanks. Good night.